Hi everyone, it's Vickie Kello, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Brisbane. I'm just finding us on the iPad, and happy long weekend to those of us in New South Wales and Brisbane or Queensland. Having a long weekend. Hi Kerry. Oh, my little stands needs to be adjusted. Happy Monday. I thought I'd show my face. I haven't been on camera for what feels like months, I think. Happy Monday. Thanks, Kerry. Hope everything's well with you. Hi, Lisa. Don't know how many ladies will be joining us tonight now that we're back in daylight savings, and it's like 9 p.m. in Sydney and New South Wales, because I have a lot of ladies from New South Wales and Victoria. Hi Helen, you're on, which is lovely. You're in Victoria. I didn't know how many ladies I would have on tonight from there, because it's so much later now with daylight savings. And we're one of the silly states that don't have it, but that's all right. So I thought I'd hop on. Hi Sue. Show everybody. I did make. Hi Anne. Yes, and Victoria. I was early an hour ago. Oh, sorry Anne. All good. Daylight savings, so it's 8 p.m. Queensland time because I'm in Brisbane. Thanks for sharing, Kerry. So I did have a whole heap of other cards here that I made over the weekend as well, but I must have packed them up because I actually had to clear off my dining room table because I had people come here yesterday. So that's one of the cards that I made. Hi Sue. Which is with that Peaceful Prince or Peaceful Place designer series paper. That's so pretty and it's shiny. And I had a whole heap, I made a whole heap of other cards with the Memories and More stuff because I needed some nice, quick, easy cards, and I wanted to use up some stuff that I'd started. Hi, Carrie Ann. So yes, but I actually had to clear off my dining room table, and those of you that have been to my house, I am sitting at the end of my dining room table now. So my dining room table goes this way, and it's an 8-seater, but I sit at the head of the dining room table here, and then this is my craft cupboard. So when we have people come over, I lose my craft space because I have another desk tabletop that sits like this way across the end of the table, and that's my crafting space. But that usually sits, hi Angie, that usually sits there all week. Let's be honest, we don't eat dinner at the dining room table, so it sits here until we have people come over, and then I have to clear it off. So I cleaned up on Saturday and Sunday to have people come over, so I did have lots of crafting stuff put away. Thanks for sharing, Angie. So this week's Lucky Door winner is Glenda Lavender. Excuse me. So I've got, I'll pop it in the post now. I do have to the left of me, right of me, I'm terrible with left and right, I have a little credenza with a whole heap of stuff on it. And there is about 8 or 9 parcels there. I've got all last month's worth of Lucky Door prizes to be sent out as well. So I've got to make a trip to the post office. I was all organised to do it today and forgot they were shut. So I've got to do that and pop them in the post. Send them out to everybody. But I wanted to hop on and let everybody know that October is my Stampiversary month, because on the 20th of October, I would have been a demonstrator for 8 years. And it's also my birthday month. So I am doing heaps and heaps of giveaways. I have like a medium-sized box from Stampin' Up full of product. Now, the product is not, well, the product is Stampin' Up, but it's all stuff from me. It's not from Stampin' Up. This is giveaways from me. that I've put together and pulled out of my stash and stuff that I've got here. They're all brand new products and stuff that I've got to give away for games. So we've got some games and some prizes to win. Some entries you have to make a purchase through me to be eligible, but other entries are just interactions and stuff on the page and answering questions and things like that. So that is all month long, and hopefully we will have lots of interaction on the page and lots of fun playing all the games. Now, most of the posts for the games, hi Christy, most of the posts for the games and stuff will go live at 7 p.m. Queensland time, which will be 8 p.m. for those in New South Wales and Victoria, because I was going to do them at 8 p.m, but I know that's a bit late for some ladies with daylight savings. So it is at 7 p.m. And I know in my house by 7 p.m. we're finished dinner because I have a 6-year-old, but I know some people are eating dinner. So most of the stuff is scheduled to go at 7 p.m. each night for all the games and the prizes and things like that. So hopefully, and it's open to anyone in Australia. Obviously I can't post prizes overseas or because they're all Stampin' Up product, so I can't do anything overseas. So it's only open to Australian residents, but you don't have to be in my team. You don't have to be a customer of mine. As long as you follow me and participate in the games, you're all eligible. So hopefully we all have some fun. All right, so I might get into stamping. So I'm gonna twist you around so that we can start looking at some products instead of my face. Oh, thanks ladies for the hearts. So I'll turn you round. I don't know where the camera is on this. Why isn't this letting me? There we go. My fat finger couldn't get the button right. Okay. Hopefully we're good. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you a bit seasick with that movement, but because I cleaned my desk and had to clean the dining room table, everything got taken off it. Hi Sharon. So Glenda is the lucky winner of the Lucky Door prize. So I know last week I got inspired, I think it was last week, the week before, of helping my son make some cards, and he really liked the whole simple stamping thing. So I got inspired over the weekend, hi Elizabeth, to make some cards, and so that's what we're going to do tonight. Make some simple stamping cards and give some tips to those. Where are those stamp sets actually? That's what I need. Hang on, I need to grab the stamp sets. Because I cleaned up my desk, there's nothing on hand. Sorry. So I was going to use Perfectly Plaid, which is a very old Christmas set. I think this has been in the catalogue for about 2 years. So I have used it a lot, but I did like the idea of the Christmas tree. Yes, I know, Elizabeth. So I just mentioned that I've scheduled a lot of my giveaway and game posts and stuff to go at 7 p.m. Queensland time. So that'll be 8 p.m. Time for Southerners. So that I hopefully will have the same amount of interaction, because I do know that daylight savings, I usually lose a lot of my Southerner viewers and they watch on the replay, but 9 o'clock is quite late for some people. And then I decided to make some with Sparkle of the Season, which is a new set in this holiday catalogue, because I buy a wreath stamp every year and I hardly ever use it. Like, I've got a wreath stamp in my stuff to sell and it's brand new. I didn't even open the thing. So I was determined to use this one. But we'll start off and we'll do this one. So these are 1-layer cards, and you could stamp directly onto the card base, but I didn't want to. I have done that on one of the cards, but I didn't want to do that because when Hunter did that the other day, he got really cranky. Thanks for sharing, Elizabeth. He got really cranky when it didn't stamp properly and thought, hi Megan, thought he had ruined the card. So if you want to, you can stamp directly onto your card base. But when he did that and he wasn't happy with the outcome, I then just cut another piece of the Whisper White or Basic White to go over the top. That is a bit long, I might have to trim that. To go over the top, and it covered up his mistake and he was much happier. But he was very upset initially that he thought he'd ruined his card, because I have to, oh, thanks for reminding her. I have to limit the amount of product that Hunter can use sometimes, because he gets a bit carried away and go, I want this piece and I want this piece and I want this piece. So when we usually get out and craft, I'm like, you're allowed 4 card bases, Hunter. That's it today. And so when he had ruined one, he was not happy. Now, while I've got this, I'm just going to trim these other ones. We were at a friend's house actually, Megan, and we were very lucky. We were in aircon most of the day. We went over for a play date, although if we had have been here, we probably would have been in the pool at doing the play date there. But so we've been actually in aircon all day, and we didn't get home until 5:30 from there. And then had dinner, and now I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, it's quite hot. So yeah, and thinking whether I should put the air on, but I haven't yet, but I think I will have to. It's very hot today, and Hunter, I've made him put the fan on in bed because it is still 28 degrees in his room at 7:30 at night. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So we're going to make this card. And so with this set, now, I don't, like I said, I've had this stamp set for 2 years, and it wasn't until Hunter pointed out that these leaves fit in with that did I realize that those two went together. I don't know why or how long it took me, why it took me so long. But these leaves fit exactly in with that, and it wasn't until Hunter pointed that out did I even realize that that happened. I threatened to put the aircon on all weekend. Ian is back at work, so we might live in an Arctic condition until he gets home. Yes. So I'm going to stamp this tree. And then, oh, I need some scrap paper here. And for those that do my classes, I have put up my classes for the rest of the year. We'll only have one class in December because it's getting, the second class is like right on the week before Christmas, and that's just too hectic for me. So I have put my classes. Yeah, it's 28 in Hunter's room right now, Elizabeth. It's ridiculous. So when we stamp this tree, I'm just going to straighten it up a bit. I'm going to stamp the outline full strength, and then I am going to get my Pierce mat as well, because this is a photopolymer stamp. I haven't decided yet, Kerry. I've just put the dates up. Full strength. And then when we put the leaves on, I'm going to do it at second strength. And because I've had this stamp set for quite a few years and used it quite a lot, some of my stamps aren't sticking to the thing. So I thought what you do, and I need to do this for the whole set, but I thought I'd show the tip here, is that you just wash them with some dishwashing liquid and things. So same thing that you wash your dishes with. wash them, let them dry out, and then they just become sticky again. They just get a bit caught up with the dust and grime and dirt from your fingers and stuff. So I've just got a piece of scrap paper here that I'm going to stamp the leaves off. And then I'm going to try to do this without getting my head in the camera. And line up. And then, yeah, it's a lighter version. And it's stunning. I love it. And I can't believe that my 6-year-old pointed out something on the stamp set that I had no idea about. We had 25 yesterday, but we have a heater on today and had 100 mil of rain since Thursday. Oh my God, that's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, thanks, Helen. All right, so now we're going to stick the star on. Now, my Daffodil Delight is not a bright yellow. It comes out quite dark, that I don't really like it. So I'm using Bumblebee. And I was surprised. I know, Sharon. They see stuff that we don't see, which frustrates me so much. I was surprised that this whole set comes with no star for the tree. So none of these trees can have stars. Which is what made me grab out this set to start with, because trying to find a stamp set of ours that has stars in them was a little bit challenging. So this one has 3 stars in it, and they are all together, but there looks to be 2 that are a bigger size and 1 a smaller one. So what I did, I just inked up the one, because it's quite easy to do that on the corner of your ink pad, or you could just use one of your Stampin' Right markers and just colour that, because I only wanted 1 star to stamp, obviously. And then we're going to go back to the Perfectly Plaid. And then after I made all these cards, and I showed Hunter, and I said, you inspired me from when I helped you make your cards. He's like, oh, I like that one. This one's a maybe. I don't really like that one, Mum. What were you thinking? I'm like, oh, good Lord. So he's a harsh critic, but anyway. So I'm going to use Merry Christmas. I do love this Merry Christmas. It fits most punches, and most circle punches. It's a lovely size, lovely font. So I think I've used Merry Christmas out of this the most. And then I have used this one quite a lot on the inside of my cards, hoping that your busy year comes together in Christmas cheer. That's pretty cool. So, and this one, I did actually stamp the inside of the card. Look at that. I don't often do that. So I wanted to come up with some quick, easy Christmas cards. So where is my card base? We'll stamp the inside while I've got that out. Because the school is running not a fundraiser, but a donation hamper thing where we're collecting food for some less fortunate people, and we have to have our hampers back to the school by the 5th of November. So I was thinking, in the meantime, I'm trying to make some quick, easy Christmas cards that I can include with my hamper, that they can then add to the other hampers, so that when these people get hampers, they can also get a Christmas card. But I don't know, I think there's 600 kids in the school. I don't know that I'm going to get 600 Christmas cards made between now and then, but I think I've got 25 to start with. So we'll see how many between now and then I get sorted. But back to this Perfectly Plaid, there's a pine cone, which is this pine cone which has the detail and stuff on it. That's the one that I used on the inside. And then the one that I used on the outside has the 2 layers. So I'm gonna stamp this one, but I am gonna stamp it off because I've got soft suede, but sometimes that's a bit too dark. Are you doing 25 hampers? No, I'm not doing 25 hampers. I've just done 25 cards to go with the hampers. So my expectation is that a card will go in each of the hampers, but I've just done 25 cards to go with my one hamper and stuff, but because that's all I've got at this stage. But I thought, yes, if I can add a few more Christmas cards, that would be good. So I've just stamped them. And so that's called second generation stamping, when you stamp off on some scrap paper. And when you do that, and if you did that with every single colour, instead of having like the 48 colours or whatever there are, you'd have like 96 colours. So then put that away and bring this one back in, because it gives you just a little bit of a different tone. So when you are doing the shadow and then the detail, you want the shadow obviously to be a little bit lighter than the detail. So we're going to stamp off with the shadow. And if I used a smaller block, I probably wouldn't get as much ink on the block. But I'm just going to stamp a few pine cones here at the bottom of the tree. Yeah, I just thought it would be nice, Megan, that when they got a hamper, they got a Christmas card in with it. Because some people don't get sent any Christmas cards, and I just think that's a bit sad too. So when you're using, I don't know whether you can see this, but this is a good tip. When you're using a scrap paper to stamp off, just make sure that there's nothing else there, because I don't know whether you can see, but there's a green tinge there. Because when I stamped off, I stamped onto the green that's here. So just make sure that that's like relatively clean and not trying to be too stingy like I am and using a really used piece of paper already, because you could end up ruining your project. And then we just come in here and line up with the detail. Whoop, that one didn't line up too well because I'm trying to do it quick. Hi, Marie. So I've been watching a few... Oh, thanks, Megan. Well, usually I have so many Christmas cards, but I donated a whole heap last year to the aged care home that I don't actually have too many extras lying around this year, which is a bit unfortunate. So it'll only be what I get a chance to make this year. But usually I have so many more lying around, hi Tara, that it wouldn't bother me. I think last year I donated like 200 Christmas cards to the aged care home. So it would have not been a worry. But this year I just don't have as many. All right, making sure, because I've stamped the inside, that we stick this on the right way. And there is our simple stamping card. Now, I really struggle with simple stamping. So you could add some bling or some ribbon or things to jazz it up a little bit, but simple stamping is just stamps, ink, and paper. So this is all we've done, is stamps, ink, and paper for that one. Now we'll do another one. So this one, oh, actually, did I have a scrap? I do have a scrap. Here, we're gonna do this one. And this time, so we're using Sparkle of the Season only for this one. And we are going to be doing 2nd and 3rd generation stamping this time. So we've got the little holly leaf. Now this has dies that go with it, but again, the whole concept of tonight is simple stamping. So I wasn't using the dies at all. So we're gonna just get the scrap paper underneath here and using Shaded Spruce. I think Shaded Spruce is one of my favouriteest Christmas colours. I used to really like Garden Green for Christmas, but this Shaded Spruce is so pretty. Such a good Christmas colour. Okay, so 1st generation stamping. I haven't re-inked. 2nd generation stamping. Haven't re-inked, and I really like that colour that gives, that stamped off Shaded Spruce. And then the 3rd generation stamping. Haven't inked off again. So that is lovely. I really like that. And then we're going to do the same for this bottom bit over here. And I'm just guesstimating the gap here. And 2nd generation stamping, 3rd generation stamping. There we go. Now on the first card, I don't know whether you can see it. You might be able to see it under there. I did just stamp Merry Christmas across, but I did kind of just think it was a little bit funny here, like the stems kind of go nowhere and it looked a bit unfinished. So what I did then was have a piece of scrap paper there, and that's what I've then stamped on. So see how far. I think an inch should be enough with the gap that you've left. So I've just got my trimmer over to the side here. Have I cut that straight? I don't know that I've cut that straight. Let's cut another piece off and cut an inch. Sometimes when you try and do a smaller piece with this trimmer, it doesn't cut straight, as straight as I would like. Anyway. And so, yeah, that's going to fit in there. And it just tidies it up a little bit. So we're just going to get the red ink, real red this time. I think maybe if this stamp set had some berries or something that you could add in there and kind of cover that bit up, it might not be quite so bad, but it just looked really unfinished to me. And I didn't want to bring in too many other new stamp sets. So I'm going to use this Merry Christmas. This is another one that's, I think, is going to be very versatile with the font because it's a nice big Merry Christmas. So big that I have to actually put it diagonal on the D block. If Julie was watching, she'd be saying, Vicky, get out another block. You've got plenty of them. But my D block is so versatile that I do use it for everything. And so I am going to stamp probably more, trying to center it a bit. There. And then close up this red ink pad because it does go everywhere. And then when I've just put this on with dimensionals, so get my dimensionals out. So what did everyone do on their long weekend today, for those that had a long weekend? I know Melbourne didn't have one, but New South Wales and Queensland had one. And then I'm going to stick another 2 in the middle just so it doesn't sag. And then I'm sticking this on before I'm sticking my backing on, because I want to just trim it off. I could cut it to 4 inches, but I kind of want to make sure that it's centered on my card. And I didn't know whether I needed to pull some more of that over that side or what. So this works out the easiest way for me to do that. Crafted the week away. Yes, there was so much going on with World Card Making Day. I was supposed to have an event with my girlfriend who ended up in hospital. So we didn't end up doing anything. I did go live and show some tips and stuff of what I was doing, but nothing what I had planned, which was a bit unfortunate, but that happens. So much going on with World Card Making. Packed up most of your house. Oh, nice, Elizabeth. That must have felt a bit good doing some of that. So I'm just going to add some tape to this. You don't need to be using Seal Plus, but as I discovered on the weekend when I did a bit of a stock take, I have about 8 Seal Pluses and 1 seal. So I am waiting for my Stampin' Up order to arrive before I have too much seal left in my house. And that is our second simple stamping card tonight. So that's that one. So these are obviously going to be added to the hampers as well. And then, so still on that, this stamp set, I thought this is very similar to the little swirls that we did for, out of the, pardon me, I can't remember the, 13 cards for the past 2 days. That's a pretty good effort, Sharon. Did you do any scrapbook pages or just cards? What was I saying? The swirls from the textures and frame stamp that was part of the celebration. I really liked that. So I thought I'd use this stamp to recreate a bit of that. And we're going to bring in some scrap paper again because we're going to be stamping off. And we're going to be using, I've got lots of colours here tonight. My favourite colour combo, which is Melon Mambo, Granny Apple Green, which I seriously need to re-ink, so I think I'm probably going to do that now while I'm on camera, and Bermuda Bay. Let me just get my re-inker for my Granny Apple Green. Dropped the bloody thing. So just cards, scrapbooking, what is that? I only scrap when I need to do a blog hop these days. Well, you and Vickie inspired me to get back into scrapping, so I've been doing a little bit, but not so much. I kind of thought you might have done it a little bit more than that. So re-inkers. So these re-inkers, like when your ink pad gets a bit dry, and I'll show you an example here, because this is one of my favorite colors. You can see that it's different color, but when you ink, it's not a great image, it's not a great coverage, it's lighter and darker in places. That's when you know it's time to re-ink. So you can buy these re-inkers in all our colors, And what you do is you just squeeze it on and re-ink your ink pad. And then you get the back of a spoon or a scrap piece of cardstock, because I don't have a spoon here, and you kind of just massage that in so that it's more like the same color over the whole ink pad, because if you leave it as that with the blotches on there, when you put your image in there to stamp, that's what you're going to get on your stamp, is the blotches. So you need to massage it in to get, see what you just did is the same as Tombow. Yes, but Tombow, then I go to stick that on something else and I get sticky fingers because it seeps outside the edges, and it's, Tombow and I are not friends. But it is just as easy. So now when we go to ink up, we will get a much darker image, because I have finally re-inked my Greeny Apple Green. I could make more than I can't make more than I scrap. Well, I started as a scrapper, Sharon, and then I would get so fixated on trying to create the layout to fix the cards that I would sit there for hours, and this Bermuda Bay could probably be re-inked too, but I'll keep going. And sit there and not end up creating a thing and get really frustrated. So that's when I turned to card making, because I could sit there, because I only have like a couple of hours block type thing. Let's move, since I've moved my table, my camera angle is not great. I'm halfway off the page here. Let's move up and my ink pads to the side so you guys can see what I'm doing. So then I'd sit there for a 2-hour block and create, and I could create 8 cards in 2 hours. So that's why I then went to card making, because I just felt so much more productive than I ever did with scrapbooking. But then I did a couple of your tutorials and was making layouts without pictures on them, and I kind of fell back in love with scrapbooking again, not focusing so much on the papers matching the pictures, like you add pictures later. So let's get rid of that so you can actually see, and I might even throw that whole piece in the bin so you can see what's happened. So I've just done some swirls on there, and it's lots of fun. And then, because I didn't want to bring in another stamp set, I used this one, but I didn't want it to be Christmas, so I used this Thankful stamp here. What does it say? Thankful for you, because I thought I can send that to customers and stuff like that, because these days I'm sending out a lot more thank you cards than I have in the last couple of years. Most photos are digital now. Yeah, and you can change it up a bit and change the colours and stuff. But yes, I do enjoy still scrapbooking. I do like creating the pages and stuff. I used to pick the photo and then pick the bits and pieces that went with. But when doing the tutorials, I couldn't put photos on. Yeah. It's made me rethink scrapbooking and think of it different, and it's made it a lot easier for me to do. So I got a lot out of your tutorials, Sharon. Hi, Myrtle. So then we just need to add, I need a card base for this one. I haven't got a card base yet. And then we have finished this card. So this is the 3rd simple stamping card we've got. I've got one more card, and then this is a little bit of a stepped up version of simple stamping. And I got this idea from Connie Stewart because I've been watching some of her videos. She's got great ideas for simple stamping or one sheet wonders. In September, she did a whole series on one sheet wonders and stuff, and get the most. So out of like a 12 by 12 piece of paper or something, she got 16 Christmas cards. And I'm like, oh, I need to do that with some of the Christmas paper that I've got and things for the hampers that I'm looking at. But I liked this idea. So this is just a 2-inch strip, or it was intended to be a 2-inch strip, but I had a 2-inch strip of Real Red because when I made those mini albums the other day, I used up all my Real Red, so I'm waiting for my Stampin' Up order to come with the rest of it. So I had to, so then this is like 1 7/8 or 1 3/4, because my strip of cardstock was only 2 inches. But this is from the 6x6 paper pad from the gingerbread paper pad. So when you do using a 6x6 piece, it's more economical to cut into like 2-inch strips. So that's what the intention with that was. And then what I did was this card, there's a little punch out here and Merry Christmas in here, so it kind of stamps on the inside and the outside all at once. That was a bit nifty. Now, Connie did it, but she did it with a die, and I just thought if I'm going to recreate this and I'm making hundreds of them, I don't have time to do it in a die. So I wanted to find a punch that worked. And I did find that Everyday Label punch or something, and that's really good. But I'd already stuck my 2-inch strip on here, and the Everyday Label punch came in over here. So it was too big, so I had to readjust and use this postage stamp one. But you could make this strip smaller and then use the bigger punch, and then you can also get a bigger sentiment in, because then when I readjusted my punch, I had to readjust my greeting or sentiment in there, because big ones aren't going to fit, are they? So I've just done a little border there. Then you get your punch, and what you want to do, I'm finding lately that these are so hard to open. So some of them I've just left open because I can't close them. I don't know whether it's me or just everybody. But I've kind of pushed it in as far as it would go to make sure it's not right on the edge. And then it's a bit hard to kind of judge once you're in here, but I've kind of just centered it as centered as I think it can be. Punch out. Now you could use that on another card. And then put my punch over there. I'm not going to close it. Get my Merry Christmas back out from my Perfectly Plaid set. Line this up. And you want to make sure this is closed when you're stamping, so you get it right, because you don't really have 2 goes at this. Oh, I've stuck that on a bit crooked, haven't I? There's no gap over here. Anyway, so then we ink this up, and then we line this up, and this just fits, so you gotta be good. Now, if you wanted to, you could obviously put a smaller sentiment in here and it wouldn't be such a tight fit like mine. But that just fits in there. And ta-da! So then you could decorate that a bit further and put some other stuff on the inside that you won't see from the outside. And again, you could finish this off with some ribbon or some bling. But the whole concept of tonight's video was all about simple stamping. So I have refrained from using bling and ribbon on any of the stamps or any of the cards. So we've made 4 cards. That one, this one, I think it was actually this one that we made tonight, and this one, and this one. So hopefully you enjoyed those cards and that you got some tips from them. And sorry, excuse me, stay tuned for all the upcoming scheduled posts that are there about my celebration for my Stampiversary and my birthday celebrations. I've got lots of giveaways, and anybody's eligible as long as they're in Australia. So most of the posts, most of the games are coming up at 7 p.m. of a night, Queensland time. So that will be 8 p.m. for you Southerners. But yes, and some of them you have to make purchases to be entered into the draws, and others are just playing along in the game. So not everyone has to buy anything, but I would love to have you part of my celebrations. So thanks for a good night, and see you guys all next week, or if I go live in between. Okay, bye. When is that? My stamp anniversary is the 13th. Mine's the 20th, Sharon. So would have been a demo 8 years on the 20th. And then my birthday is the 17th. So, bye.